This is just a quick review of this 8BitDo arcade controller. Now this controller is a leverless one, meaning that there are no joysticks and everything is a key press, and it's meant more for fighting games. And the arcade controller comes in kind of two variants. It comes in the Xbox variant, and what I have here, which is compatible with the Switch, Windows, and other devices that can connect via Bluetooth. So let's take a quick look at what's in the box. So you have the controller itself, and the one that I have is in the classic NES kind of theming. It comes with a USB-A to USB-C cable, a manual, and additional pads to change out the buttons that are here. I'll talk about that in a second. Close the box. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is if you're looking at this controller, it is very, very thin, and this is one of the key benefits, one of the major key benefits of having a leverless controller. There are some 8BitDo, I love 8BitDo. They put some interesting designs here. You can see that in the back, their rubber coating on the back. I'm not sure if you can actually see what the camera focus is made up of key combinations. And you can see some pretty interesting key combinations in there, like the cheat code, etc., that you would normally see. At the bottom here, there are legs that kind of flip down, and they're magnetic. They hold in place. That gives you some height. But they kind of flip up as well. And take a little bit to flip them up. My nail's a little bit short right now. Anyway, they flip up. There you go, hard to do with one hand. Okay, and then also on the bottom there's a dongle, and that's built in. This is a USB-A dongle, and this gives you your radio frequency, but you can also connect over Bluetooth. And so the way this works is at the top there is a lock-on-lock switch, right? Then there's also a power switch, which goes to S, which is for a Switch controller or Bluetooth. And then you go to X, which is a 2.4 gigahertz controller. Then you have buttons for like Wi-Fi, star, and this is for kind of pairing. You have your L3, your R3 buttons, which are kind of new, select start, and all your buttons themselves. And I love this kind of glossy finish. It's a kind of a matte finish actually, but it's a very nice kind of acrylic on it. Your hand slides very easily over it. The buttons themselves are very clicky. And you basically have the main buttons. You have your up, down, left, right, all the buttons you would normally program, plus your L's, R1s, and 2. And then you have these macro buttons that you can assign to pretty much anything. And through the software, you can even assign to macro keys themselves. So you can put multiple key presses into one button. So if it's easier for you to map one of these buttons over here, and that's what you're comfortable with, you can absolutely do that. These buttons are very clicky. And some of them can be replaced with other ones that they have there. So yeah, I love this controller. In terms of performance, I find that Bluetooth has a little bit more latency, and again, depending on what you're connecting to, I'm connecting to a Windows machine, has a little bit more latency than if I use the actual dongle itself. And then there's this thing where it switches over into different modes where it has different key combinations, but you can remap that in software, and for all intents and purposes, it works very well. Again, being there is no levers, there is no joysticks, it is very thin. Otherwise, you can get the traditional arcade controller, which is significantly thicker, multiple times this width, this depth. But for me, this is actually great. So I'm not really fully used to this type of controller yet, but I am getting into some of the old some of the games with hitboxes, and this does work very well. I tried it with Street Fighter 6, and overall, I'm very impressed with what it can do. But again, it will take. There's a learning curve associated with it. But for most games, and actually, the real reason why I got this was for my son, who is a little bit too small to play like full-on controllers. He's having a little bit of trouble with the joysticks yet. This actually, it's weird in a way, but for at least these buttons, not necessarily jump, he can remap jump, but for these buttons, he's able to use this fairly well and intuitively, where he can kind of sit this on his lap or sit this in front of him and play and move forward. So for other types of games. So while it doesn't give you the full joystick experience, it does give you full control, and is one of those situations that that works very well if you get into it. So I'm incredibly happy with this controller. Again, the latency is a little bit higher on the Bluetooth side, but again, that depends on what you're connecting to. And I've been using this with the PC, and it works beautifully.
You see how this one was used by the government, now they're using it. I don't have anything to do with the government.